All right, back here on the program, we're going to take a little bit of break from football because another topic that has just been sweeping our newsroom today, the community, the nation, the world, frankly, was the debacle that happened last night at the end of the Miss Universe pageant with Steve Harvey announcing the wrong Miss Universe and then sheepishly walking back out and correcting himself, and the aftermath that followed. Our next guest is a former Miss USA contestant and the former Miss Kentucky, Amanda Mertz. Amanda, good friend, great to talk to you. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Steve, thanks for having me.
I want to ask you first, we're going to play the clip here in a second, but I want to ask you first, what was your reaction? Were you watching it live? And if so, what was your reaction when you saw that play out?
Well, I'm pretty sure I had the same reaction as everyone else in the world that was watching it, but I was on my couch by myself, so unfortunately no one was there to react with me. But I truly could not, I couldn't believe it. Like, I thought it had to be a joke or something, but I could tell, I'll say that I could tell something was off. Just because I've been in that contest before, and they were running after they announced the winner. They kept the camera on it for so long, and I thought they would have already cut the broadcast. So, like, I felt like something was already awkward, and then that started to make sense why. But my goodness, there are no words to describe how awkward it was.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because a lot of times it's so tight at a contest like that they announce the winner and it's okay, the winner is, and they crown her, and then they say, okay, good night everybody, we'll see you next year. And they just hung around for so long. That's when I started to wonder what was up. Let me ask you this. I've heard several people say today they think this was perhaps a publicity stunt. You think there's any chance that this was somehow rigged for the publicity, or you just think it was an honest mistake?
Absolutely not. I think it was an honest mistake. I don't think Steve Harvey would want to take that responsibility on him. You know, I don't think it really directly reflects Miss Universe pageant. I think people are talking obviously more about Steve Harvey, so I don't think it would be a good business decision on his behalf to come out and, you know, own that it was his honest mistake. You know, and they also said, I was reading a bunch of girls from the contest that were competing last night, and they were tweeting that they knew something was wrong because they obviously, all the contestants that don't make the final round, you notice that they're all standing back behind the finalists, and they said that they were looking at the teleprompter and they could see that he just announced it wrong. So everybody's reactions were like, if you go back and look at it now, you can see all the girls are like, oh gosh. I don't, absolutely no doubt in my mind, I think that was an honest, genuine mistake he made, and no way he would want to take all that blame because it's all fired upon him right now.
I feel like he's destined for a huge Southwest deal. You know, want to get away?
Right? I'm sure he needs a vacation at this point for sure.
I mean, it's just unbelievable how it happens. And look, I'm generally very forgiving of people who are in a live format because you never know what can go wrong. And we've all had slips of tongues before, and most people are fortunate enough that it's not caught on a worldwide stage. But man, that's right there in front of you. That's that's pretty tough.
That was, I mean, I feel like it was like one of the biggest TV fails ever because the poor girl, like, they literally took the same crown off her head and put it on the next girl. Like, that's something you see in, like, Miss Congeniality, the movie. But otherwise, that is horrifying. I mean, to be Miss Columbia last night, I felt terrible for her.
I want to get back to that in a second. I want to watch the clip now, so Amanda, hang with us for a second.
Sure.
Here is the end of this show last night, which I don't know if we've certainly never seen it before, and I hope we never see it again, because this just gets awkward. So yeah, she's just waving to the crowd right now. She thinks she wins, and here comes Steve Harvey, and oh gosh.
Okay, folks, I have to apologize.
I'm amazed
The
they're like
first
cheering as he starts
runner-up
to apologize.
is Colombia.
At this point, I think the only person who knows what's going on is Miss USA.
Miss Universe 2015 is Philippines.
So there was a huge reaction. We'll keep watching this here as you see Miss Philippines walk up, and eventually she's going to get the crown literally taken off of Miss Colombia's head. Amanda, I mean, you've been in a lot of these. You won Miss Kentucky. You were part of the Miss USA contest and performed well there as well. Have you ever been a part of a moment that was anything close to as awkward as the final couple minutes that we saw last night?
Absolutely not, and I hope no one ever has to see that again. Because I can only imagine the emotion that I felt when I was crowned Miss Kentucky, and then for someone to come back and be like, oh, just kidding, that you're not really the winner, that is humiliating and so upsetting, because she just thought her entire dreams came true, and then it was literally ripped off her head, passed to the next girl. And you know what, the most awkward part I felt like about it was that it took so long for someone to do something. Like, thank God, the current Miss Universe came out and actually just stood up there with them or something. Because I mean, I've always sent like 4 different tweets in this awkward time, being like, somebody help, like do something, and like everybody's just standing there on live broadcast singing around like just a bunch of dummies. It was horrifying.
He just showed the card, by the way, and I still can't figure out how you misread the card there. I mean, Miss Philippines is in bold, like type 20 font, and all the other ones are probably size 12 up there. I don't see how he overlooked that thing. It's really a remarkable television moment there.
So do you think that it was rigged at all, or for viewings, or do you kind of feel the way that I did?
No, I think the way you did. I think it was just somehow he got confused. And the other thing I thought when watching it back, we were preparing for our own show last night about football, so I didn't even get to see most of it in its entirety until later on. But a lot of the times you see co-hosts for the big pageants like this, and I sort of felt like maybe he was just out there struggling, to keep above water on his own, and could have used a co-host at that moment. And then maybe things just got a little crazy, because things do get crazy between the segments, between the portions of the show to the end there. It's a tricky thing. So I'm with you. I don't think it was rigged.
Yeah, even the Miss USA pageants, they've always had 2 co-hosts. You're right, that's a valid point. I mean, he was by himself. And this is probably just Steve Harvey's character, but I was laughing at him before that, because when they were doing the onstage question, they were asking the girls, just when they were doing the translating, when he would look back at the translator and the girls, he just looked like he was just so like, what is going on? And just kind of out there already. So then when that happened, I was just like, is he drunk? I mean, I don't know what is going on, but it was just an awkward night. But the good thing is at least you got people talking about the pageant. But one point that I did make last night is that, so you win your state title like I did in Miss Kentucky USA. You move on to Miss USA. If you win Miss USA, you go to Miss Universe. And for me, last night was more than just about Steve Harvey looking ridiculous and then 4 girls mixed up. I just don't want it to take away and discourage girls from competing in the system, because it's not a joke and it hasn't been that way. It's very, very valuable to long-term goals that you want to do in life, and I'm thankful that I have it on my resume. So last night, of course, it got a lot of attention, but also a little bit of a bad rep too. So that's a little bummer about the whole thing, but the whole world's talking about it now, that's for sure.
The whole world certainly is talking about it. Amanda, I know you know this, but very few people know this about me. But I've actually hosted 4 beauty pageants in my life. So yeah. I have some level of an appreciation for it and what each of the contestants has to go through and the process and the interviews and how long it takes and all of that. So I'm glad you spoke on some of the positives. I think one other thing that people often, I guess, misconceive about the process is that the girls can be catty, and it's almost like a real feisty atmosphere backstage or between these competitions. What do you think the reaction of the other contestants were towards Miss Columbia and Miss Philippines after that fiasco?
Well, I watched a couple videos, and it looked like all the girls were very, very supportive because Miss Columbia, they didn't really show a whole lot of her after. I mean, they cut the broadcast, and then you're just like, wow. So I started watching a couple of interviews that they did with her behind the scenes, and she was in, like, great spirits, way better spirits than I would have been in that situation. And there were girls hugging her and surrounding her. And I will say that you do have some cattiness probably in the pageant world, but I've had great experiences with them, and I've actually met some of my very best friends. So I know you spend, like, you're out for Miss USA. We were out in Vegas for 2.5 weeks with these girls. So, of course, there's a little bit of cattiness sometimes that may go on. But for the most part, you become really close, and you become a really close-knit group. So I think they probably were running, because I think it's unfortunate for Miss Philippines, too. I mean, even though she won, her reign is not going to be the same because it's forever going to be talked about. Oh, well, Miss Columbia won, and then they're going to want to talk about that. So I'm sure they've both gotten a ton of support from all the girls that they competed with.
Well, we're all looking forward to next year already, I think, based off of last night. Just a simply amazing television spectacle, and you feel sorry for both of the ladies who had their moments ruined in different ways, but both ruined, frankly, no matter what. But Amanda Mertz, thanks so much. Great job in your reign a few years ago, and thanks for coming on and lending a little perspective about a different kind of competition here on the program tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks, Amanda. We will talk to you soon. Steve Harvey, the real thing about this is I don't know if we'll ever be able to watch Family Feud again and respect all of the surveys. He comes up with the answers there, and, I mean, can we believe him? Did he read the card right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see moving forward. All right, that was a little fun to get away from some of the seriousness of trying to figure out the Titans' issues at the moment. But we'll dive back into that. We'll also talk some other NFL stuff. Big deal yesterday in New York. Odell Beckham, Josh Norman going head-to-head in that game. It got ugly. It was a heated battle in terms of football. It was a way too heated battle in terms of the extracurriculars. The NFL speaks on that today. I'll speak on it coming up next. Stay tuned. You're watching Titans Talk here on News Channel 5+.